is gonna look so cool, guys. Oh. This video is kindly sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another installment in the Éowyn Shield Maiden Dress project series. So last time we went over the plan, the fact that there isn't very much of a plan, but that I'm using a beautiful linen fabric instead of the silk that was used for the original. We made the bodice. Here it is. I still absolutely love it. And today it is time to get started on the sleeves. In theory, the sleeves should be very simple to make because they are a pretty basic shape themselves in the sewing. The difficulty comes with the styling, I think. Basically, if I'm not mistaken, the sleeves are made up of a top sleeve, which is just slightly gathered fabric from shoulder to elbow. And then below that, you have a rectangular sleeve that is kind of diagonal like this. So it comes down to floor length from the elbow when the arm is held down, almost floor length, maybe like ankle length. It's a very important element of the dress and we need to figure out how to make it. So I think I'm just gonna take my fabric again and maybe drape on myself. I want to do the sleeves first and then the skirt so that I can use all of the fabric I have left for the skirt, make that as full as possible. There is one measurement that is fixed, which is the width of my fabric. I can't make it longer than this, or I'd have to sew, but I don't want any seams running down this. Basically, I would like if the only seam were here in the bit that's gonna be scrunched up anyway. I think that would be the nicest looking. I do think this is long enough though. There's an opening at the front, which means I should probably fold it along the back. I need to have 2 closed sides and 2 open sides, and one of the closed sides needs to be sewn and I want that to be the top. So I will probably then fold it like this so that this sits here. This is sewn, the top, and the front is open, and that way the back, which is going to be visible, is nice and smooth, and this can just be scrunched up. Okay. Let's see, how long do I want this to be? If I make this too long, there's just gonna be a lot of fabric here. And I think practically, if this was a real dress, with the sleeves down, it would have probably come down to the wrist or just slightly over the wrist. I'm thinking functionally here. And then she can just scrunch it up when necessary. It makes sense that this dress will be wearable with the sleeve down as well, in which case it would only come down to, I'm gonna say like halfway onto the hand. So I think maybe that's a good measurement to work with, which would make it only this long, and that does not leave me a lot of fabric to scrunch up. So I think that's good. That won't make it too heavy either. I think I'm just gonna start by making the sleeve top though, because I have this bit of fabric where I cut the bodice out, which is all tattered. So I'm just gonna take the sleeve tops off of this first and then use this measurement to determine the width of the fabric. Oh gosh, this is not my favorite part of sewing, the whole figuring out thing when it's this complicated, but we'll get there eventually. Before we move on, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. If you're not familiar with Squarespace, it is a platform that allows you to build websites in a really simple, beginner-friendly way. I've been playing around with the platform myself and I decided to build a website from a template that I then just completely customized to fit my taste and the vision I have for my website. They have templates for entire websites, but they also have templates for each individual section or function you want your website to have, and everything is super customizable. You can change pretty much everything and do some really cool stuff with no knowledge of coding whatsoever. Honestly, anyone can build a beautiful website through Squarespace, and they offer lots of functions that are fantastic for small business owners. Storefronts, they have online portfolios, you could publish a menu, and there are just loads and loads of options, so it's definitely worth checking out if you're interested in building a website for your small business or maybe just for yourself as a personal little project. And they do domain domain hosting as well, so it really is an all-in-one. So head over to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and when you're ready to launch your website, go to squarespace.com/loopsy to get 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain. And now let's get back to sewing. Okay, I have my bottom sleeves here. They are quite long at the moment, so I still need to shorten them. But once I've done that, I will need to sew them along the top, cut out a little bit here to attach the other side of the sleeve, like the upper sleeve is gonna go here. This is gonna stay closed, and then I'm gonna need to hem along the fronts here. So both of these are going to have to be hemmed, as well as the bottom. And I think I'm just going to do a really thin rolled hem, just to make that as inconspicuous as possible. I think this is going to look so cool, guys. Oh. We have sleeves. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, this looks so cool. So this is how it attaches to the bodice. It's gonna look a little something like this once it's attached. And then this is gonna be bunched up with a little piece of string. And there we have something that looks, I think, fairly similar to the Aowen sleeve. So I'm just gonna go ahead and attach these to the bodice. I have two of them. Yeah, see what it looks like. Probably try it on for a bit to check that everything's going well and the length is good and everything. But this is very exciting, and I think it looks great. Some things definitely need altering. First of all, I need to make much more space in the arms here. Too small, which causes all of this to happen. Also, the darts come up too high, so I need to lower those a bit. I don't know if you can tell, but other than that, I think it looks fine. So if I do that, we should be good. Okay, this is much better already. The darts are in the position where they should be. I do have more space for my armpits here, but I'm wondering if I should just take off a little bit more here, because it's still kind of bunching up, like there's just too much fabric here. I think I should just go ahead and draw it. Let's give that a try. Alrighty, enough finicking. I think we're good now. I reset the sleeves 3 times and they better fit. I'm gonna set this aside for now and move on to the skirt. So for the skirt, I'm just gonna use all of my remaining fabric. I have quite a bit left actually, so this should be a nice and full swooshy skirt. A little over 2 meters, I think, in width. So what I'm gonna do here is do a paneled skirt. I'm a convert, guys. You have done it. Panel skirts for floor length skirts are just the best shape, the most economical. And with fabric like this, linen, it works perfectly well. So I'm just gonna calculate the maximum of skirt I can get out of this, cut all of it out, sew all of it together, and we'll have ourselves a skirt. Now, the skirt in the original dress has a lettuce hem, so I'm fairly sure it's just a really thin micro hem, rolled hem, however you want to call it, on the bottom as well, because when you do that you get that kind of like wavy effect, and in this case we want that. And the sleeves are finished in the same way as well, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do that on the bottom. Let me calculate and cut first. I cannot make this dress sit on this mannequin in a way that's even half flattering, but we have a skirt. The skirt is attached to the dress. It is all hemmed with that same narrow hem. I just had to pick it up in the bit with loose threads. Anyways, it looks really good. It looks really good. I'm very happy with it. And all it really needs right now for the chemise to be done is the sleeves. So when I first bought the materials for this dress, I also got this cording. It was the best thing I could find. It's not exactly it, but I think it'll work. It's at least the right color. It's a little bit thicker than the cording that was used on Eowyn's dress because I'm gonna have to braid this, and the individual strands are already pretty thick, so I think the braid's gonna be a little bit thicker than hers was. But we're letting go of the movie replica thing and working with what we have. So the first thing I want to do before I braid this is to just take a little piece of, just a single piece of this cording and use that here in order to make that crinkly sleeve. So I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this. I do think this needs to be attached. What if? I kind of, now that the sleeve is a wearable length, I kind of want it to be like to function both ways, down and up. I would like maybe for this cord to be detachable, or at least partially, so that I can let out the sleeve. Because essentially it's gonna look a little something like this. It's gonna be held up by the cord, but then I would really love to be able to let this go and fold out the sleeve, and then ideally have the cord just sitting on the inside so that it's not visible. Then how do I fix it to the top in a way that looks nice? I could, yeah, I don't really want to do a button because that's very visible. What's more subtle than a button that I could use for this purpose? I feel like a hook wouldn't be sturdy enough. I may have to go ahead and look at photos, although I do think the actual movie dress isn't convertible like this. If I can't do it, then I'll just sew this to the dress, but I would love to have this option. Okay, I'm gonna have to think on that. Anyways, when I have that figured out, I'm gonna take the rest of the length of this and see if I have enough so that I can braid it and then wrap it around the arms. I think I should have bought way more. I'm fairly sure I don't nearly have enough. I need to braid this with that gold thread. I have the remainder of my spool here, and I need a few strands of this in with the cording. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see. I had no idea how much length I would need for this, and if it's not enough, then I will just use the singular cord and wrap it in some of this golden thread. But let me take a look at the pictures first and I'll get back to you. It's kind of hard to tell from the photo. It looks like it's probably just sewn in, but as I was looking at it, I started thinking, what if I do a tiny fabric covered button? But looking at my stash, this is the smallest size I have, which is actually fairly large compared to the sleeve here. It's pretty big. But then I kept looking and I did find these little buttons that are black and like this brassy color, and the back of them is completely brass. So what if I do a tiny gold button? And my hope is that it'll be largely hidden behind the folds of the gathered up sleeve. The concept works. I really like it actually. It looks fantastic both ways. Don't want to give too much away yet, that's why I'm showing you a close-up here. But yeah, it works, but I need to move this button up way higher. I think it needs to be like up here maybe. The gathers are too low on my arm now, it needs to be higher up. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the button up a little bit higher. Alrighty guys, here she is so far. I think we can say the chemise is done. However, I'm thinking we need to make a third video because this is missing a bit of brown. I wasn't intending to do this, but looking at it now, it really does need that corset top to sell the image, the idea of the Shield Maiden dress. I think we're gonna do one more installment in this series where I'm gonna make the corset top thing that she wears over this dress. But as for the chemise, that is finished. I am quite happy with how the sleeves came out. I spent much longer than I thought actually braiding this this cord with the gold thread. I tried several different things to figure out in which way to use the gold thread so that it would be the most visible. Ended up just completely giving up and braiding it at random, which actually worked quite fine. It wraps around the arms there. I am quite happy with the placement of the button now and the gathers up top here. I ended up shortening that cord a little bit as well. And yeah, the skirt is attached. I apparently also don't have a white zipper in my stash at the moment, so I'm gonna have to go out and buy a white zipper. What I did find in my stash, and this is partially what prompted me to want to make the corset top, is this fabric, which is just too perfect to pass up. And I already have this lying around, and I think this should be just enough to make a corset. It's a little scrap, but I think it should be enough to make that corset top out of. So yeah, that's gonna be for next time. So I think this is where I leave you guys. The Shield Maiden dress is done, it just needs the top. So thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see the rest of this dress coming to life. Definitely be sure to check out Squarespace through the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video.